Hello. Now we are going to start this VOD review of, it seems, a silver/bronze Moira on console. Let's get right into it.
Hello there.
I'm going to be a little quiet because I want to kind of pay attention to what's going on, but... Alright, here we go.
1. Attack commencing. Capture objective A.
Get Reinhardt, Zen, Soldier, Stila, should work. The Reaper's being an idiot, or your Lucio actually.
This will improve your position.
You're missing D.Va with your... Yes, let's make that comment. Okay, this is fine. That's fine. I don't know what happened to your soldier, but oh, that's just unlucky.
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science.
This is my jam.
So you really should not be going out here. Your team has lost a fight, and you're just gonna end up... Are you gonna get this torb? You should not have gotten that torb. Again, oh, come on.
Surrender to my will.
Okay, so let's talk about Coalescence. And what Coalescence is good at. I don't have the numbers on me, but Coalescence deals more healing than damage. Right? So what you really want to do is use it when there's both enemies and allies in line of sight of you. If you're just dealing damage to enemies, your teammates aren't receiving healing, and you're just not getting as much Coalescence value as you could. In addition, you didn't have your tank line, and the fact that you got the kill on the Torbjorn is kind of bronze, but right now your team's going to go in thinking they have an advantage, but they still have no heals.
I'm not dead yet.
You're still going to end up getting this point because,
Let's move it, people.
luckily for you, Lucio seems to have died at the same time. Well, that fade was fine, but you use fade to move towards enemies a lot of the time. And that's just generally a bad idea. That's fine. Using fade to get towards enemies means you're going to be in danger of dying with no way out. You always want to use fade to escape. You're trying to heal the out enemy. That's not... Wait, that's a good fade. Your ball there was bad, but whatever. You're on payload, this is fine. Okay, you wanna... Yep. Ooh, that's unlucky. Keep in mind they have a Widow, and your Ryan's in the room to the left. You're gonna want to be using natural cover.
There was a flaw in my approach.
Oh, let's break it.
Enemy turret ahead!
I am on fire.
Enemy turret destroyed!
You're standing still. Don't stand still.
Allow me to
You're
repair
healing
the
nothing. That ball did nothing.
I require assistance.
And now you don't have a ball to throw out. At enemies, at the flanker behind you. There's someone right behind you. And Ana behind you. You can go deal with that Ana if you want, because your suck and your purple ball is absolutely going to destroy her. Look how easy that shot was.
I'm not dead yet.
You're standing still, and that's what happens.
Group up with me. Oh, yeah.
Enemy turret ahead.
Dude, that's amazing. You should have known that was going to happen. On a good note, you wasted the tire, but you should have known those balls would have been there. This looks like it's going to be your best chance yet. Your soldier's flanking, your D.Va's feeding. Where are you going? So, let's talk about your positioning right here. You are in the enemy's backline as a healer. Your team is way over there. They need healing, and you're right here. But what else is right here? Hanzo, Orisa, you're not really going to crack this. Even with Coalescence, which would not have saved you against the dragons. But look, you're already down 2. And you're popping Coalescence, and you're not going to get any healing. If you get a couple kills, you're still going to lose the fight. So your overall decision making here was pretty poor. What you needed to do, we're going to go back, is
Enemy turret ahead.
right here. Let's go back a couple seconds. Okay. Got a nice little team here. And then Soldier who can take care of himself if he doesn't get shot by Widow.
Enemy turret
D.Va's feeding. Can't do anything about that.
ahead.
But you still have 3 valuable members over here. 1 not so valuable member over here. Again, your team's over here. Their team's here. You're going right at their team as Moira. You're going to die. You're not going to get value. They're low. Take too long to fire out that orb, and you miss the orb.
Surrender to my will.
You'll probably kill the Hanzo. And you get the Widow, but your team died. And that was definitely some avoidable deaths in that. Had you used Coalescence from behind your team to get both your team's heals and their team's damage. That being said, there's a team wipe. So you have a good chance you're up. You're frontlining right now.
Get into position.
You didn't really do much that fight. This is fine. Alright. Why are you standing still? You almost died to that Hanzo because you're standing still. Don't forget to use melees. You should be able to almost cap this point from here. Fine. Okay, that's fine. So one thing also to keep in mind, this isn't really like wrong, but you have to remember what Moira's right click does, or left click does. It applies a healing over time effect. Your left click provides a healing over time. So if your team's not dying, just tap it. You'll save your resources, and you'll heal about the same. Now it's a good time. Okay, good. Don't get too aggressive. This is fine. This is fine. Your D.Va's low. Heal the D.Va. Okay. So, right there, your tanks were low, you were using Coalescence, and your tanks died. That's inexcusable. Coalescence primarily should be used for healing. If you can damage at the same time, that's even better. but you should not be ignoring your healing duties to deal damage.
There was a flaw in my approach.
Enemy turret ahead.
Moving up.
You should end up capping this point, though.
This will heal you.
You can be killing? Oh, that's bad. This is still very winnable.
I'm restoring.
Good fade. So let's see where you were when you died. Right in the middle of you. I don't know if there's really much you could have done there. You had to use fade to get out of a sticky situation, and then had to get to your Rhine. So I'm not sure there's much you could do.
We must increase our efforts.
Odds are you won't cap at this point. You're standing still, and you get headshotted for it, or body shotted. So you stand still way too much.
There was a flaw.
That's probably one of your biggest concerns. You stand. We're just not going to talk about that. You stand still way too much, and you do get punished for it. You should always be moving. Second, remember this is a team game, and you have a team, and you are a support, and your job is to heal. So as Moira, the only support you can really provide is healing. So that's what you should be focusing on. Damage, like burst down flankers if you can, but primarily you should be healing your team, right? And you're not doing that. You're going on flanks trying to 1v6 their whole team, which doesn't work, while your team dies. And there were a couple of fights that could have probably been won had you been healing your team instead of diving their backline as Moira. Cooldown management. Your ults are way too aggressive and offensive.
The truth.
You should be using them almost as often as you are,
All systems
but
operational. Diva.
you should be using them to both heal and damage, and most importantly damage. Sorry, most importantly heal.
Attackers incoming.
If you see someone's like really low and just out of your range, yeah, go for coalescence, finish them off, but make sure healing is your #1 priority. Your fade management is not good. Use it for emergencies to get out of a bad situation. And if you're, and remember, try to use it so that if you won't get caught out after you use it. So there are a couple times you did use it to get out of a bad situation, but you ended in a position where you were going to get caught out.
Attackers inbound.
You should not be standing. Okay, better. That's fine. I'm shocked that got a kill. It's Reaper. Okay. I want to see this again.
When faced with a setback,
So-
we must challenge our assumptions.
I want to see that again. Right here. Right here, your instinct should not be to be where you are. Let's back up. Boop. 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 So right here is when you hear Reaper. And if not his guns, his footsteps. You can hear it a few seconds before. You hear Reaper, go this way. Because if you go this way, and your Ryan puts his shield down to swing, which he probably should, you won't be in line of fire from everything here. You'll be safe, including if a Widow gets up here, and you knew they had a Widow. So what ends up happening is your instinct to a Reaper is to walk towards him and out into the open, and that's what you get punished for. So it's not so much that the hack got you, because yeah, you could have faded back, but you shouldn't have been there in the first place. Like, look, you're alone. Okay, there's something else there, but
When faced with a setback, we must
They
challenge
also were
our
alone.
assumptions. Allow me to remove damage.
okay. So let me ask you, why are you right here? Genuine question. Why are you here? Because your tank's pretty much behind you. What do they have? Hanzo, Widow, snipers, things that can just generally kill you from a distance. This is not a distance. This is not a ranged weapon. And you're going to lose this fight. You versus anything that's over here. So you should be behind your tanks. Ideally, I'd like to see you... So you could be here, because then they would have to flank you, and then you have an advantage, because you could use this room to use your purple ball. They'd be in close range, and this whole sight line is shut down. You could be... You could be in here. I mean, you'd have to play it right, but there's a little more cover from this angle. You'd be a little bit farther back, though. I don't think I like this angle. I think I like this angle better, because you're closer to your team, so your healing doesn't have to... excuse me. Your healing doesn't have to take as long to get to the target, and it's a little bit safer.
Allow me to remove damage.
This is kind of fine right here. Not right now, but you had the tank, so there was cover. But now there's no cover, and you still walk forward.
Resistance.
That's not a deal you want to take.
I'm not dead yet.
Reaper can one-shot most squishies, so you don't want to take that fight. At this point, die on point. Shouldn't have gone in the first place. Your team had lost. It's bronze. What happened?
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science.
Group up with me.
Your diva's trying to figure out what her buttons do.
Teleportation portal open.
Okay. Not bad. You are hacked. There is Slumber right there.
That changes my
Easy to track. Nothing. You just would have had to strafe better. But I don't want to focus on that right now.
Torbjorn, ready to fight.
Widow's to your left. If you get domed,
power of destruction.
you should know not to. Alright. If you don't. You know where Widow is. You should not get attacked by her.
Your resistance.
Coalescing good. Unlucky. Nothing you can do about that.
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science.
That's fine. Play walls. You are gonna get domed right here. You are way out, too out in the open.
I'm under attack.
Don't worry about this far. This far is... yeah. You don't want to be there. You want to be playing with the tanks, healing the tanks. Especially since they had walls up.
There was a
And you knew
flaw
that.
in my approach.
Running into their team to try to heal Afara is just not going to end well. Running into their team in general is never going to end well.
Get into position.
You can fade out. Good. Alright, so you ended the video a little early. So, here are the big takeaways I think you can get from this. See if I can get these. Third point K, I want third point. Is there a better one? No. So we're going to use this. Okay, so I'm using this map because I think I can talk about all I want to here. There were times when you had... Reinhardt was a little bigger than that, but you get the idea. Reinhardt was there. Their Widow was probably somewhere in this general area. So they're going to have this sightline, kind of. This is the sightline she wants to work from. And if your Ryan has this nice blue rectangle, you should be safe behind it. That's not a guarantee that the Ryan will have this shield up. Don't risk it. You should play safer. Ah, no more Sigma. Interesting. We'll use Mercy. If you're here, even if Ryan has his shield up or he doesn't, you're always at risk that the Widow just moves. Oops. That the Widow just moves to the left, domes you. Hook shots up, domes you. But if you're playing back in this area, you'll have sightlines on the tanks. Widow won't have sightlines on you because of the wall. And you don't... And it's not like you can... they were probably... That red. They were probably here, right? You'd have to get to about here to get any value out of your suck. And at that point, you're in front of your tanks. That's just not a good idea. So you do want to play a little farther back. You want to play with more cover. You want to play with your team, and most important in your team are the tanks, right? Because if your Pharah's off in here, she's dead. Like this, in this area, this is theirs. She's dead. Let her die. Your tanks are more important. So it's better for you to heal your tanks and live than run off in here, die. Your Pharah dies anyway because she was way out of position. Your tanks die because you weren't healing them. So I think that's the most important thing for you to work on, right? The two most important things for you to work on are general positioning and just working with your team. With that, you could probably get to... Oh, and one other thing. And always moving. So those three things I would focus on first. Always be moving. That's pretty simple. If you're just moving your whatever button you use to move, just wiggle it side to side. It doesn't have to be much. If you go in one direction, you're easy to track. Stand still, you're dead. Just go back and forth. Not much. Just work on that. So that's 1. 2, safer positioning. And 3, play with your team.